Welcome to the NFL Week 8. I think this is the first video I'm doing in my car this year, guys. But the reason I'm doing this game a bit early, or this video a bit early, is because for the first time this season, I'll be playing on the Thursday night game, which you know how much I hate Thursday nights, and you know how much I hate betting on a Jacksonville Jaguar game. But the Saints are playing this game, and if you've been following me this season, you know I can't help but bet on Saints games, even though we haven't done that well on the Saints game. I had them a couple weeks ago, or I faded them a couple weeks ago against the Patriots, and they won. I didn't bet them last week, but I put them on for my Patrons last week, and they lost. I think they were on the road last week, I think, against Houston, and they lost in that game. I didn't end up betting them, but that was a play that I was looking at during the week. Last week we were 3-2, or I was 3-2. I had the Rams, Bengals, and then I had the over in the Cleveland San Francisco game, which somehow hit the over on that low scoring game. And then I had the Titans and the Bucks wrong. So 13-9 on the season. Holy smokes, the Tennessee Titans, I mean, they didn't deserve to win that game by any means, but a chance for a backdoor cover at the end, and Willis just kept, Tannehill went out with an injury. Willis came in and sack after sack after sack. I mean, that guy got sacked. Like, if it wasn't a sack, it was a penalty on the Ravens on the last drive. It was insane how they didn't get a backdoor cover there, but it's not the first time this season I failed to get a backdoor cover at the end. Probably just as bad was week 1 with Indianapolis. They couldn't get a backdoor cover. They also had first and goal from the 1-yard line and couldn't punch it in, but that's the way these shitty teams go. So whatever, we're going to week 7 now. Again, I think I had put 4 plays on the Patreon for the patrons there. Again, I rated them 2%, 3% play based on, you know, how I feel about those games. Some other, you know, if I go down the list of games here, not a whole lot I like. There's a lot of buys this week, a lot of teams on buys, so not as many games. Atlanta and Tampa Bay. Tampa's a 2.5-point favorite. I think Tampa at this point, like I said, with New England, they're pretty much a bet-off team. I did take Tampa last week, and that was clearly the wrong side against the Lions to try to get cute, and took the Bucks, which I thought was a favorable spot for them coming off their bye week, and they're obviously just not great. The true Baker Mayfield showed up. The offense they still have a pretty good defense, but offensively they're just terrible. They can't run the ball, and Baker can't throw. So Atlanta has the 4th ranked pass defense. I definitely think that the Falcons are live to win this divisional NFC South matchup. So I would take Atlanta plus 2.5, but even greater is a good teaser situation. You can tease up through 3, 6, and 7 and get them at a 6-point teaser at plus 8.5. I think that's a good play there. Green Bay, essentially a pick 'em against Denver. Green Bay coming off their bye. Denver coming back home. The Broncos look bad as usual. The Broncos had the Thursday night football game, so they have extra rest. They lost against Kansas City, but guess who they have next week? Kansas City again. So little sandwich spot there for them. Now they have a non-conference game here against Green Bay. I think the Packers, they limped their way into the bye week. I always like taking teams that struggled going into the bye week because it gives them a bit more things to work on than teams that are, you know, kind of ruin momentum when you're playing hot and then you go into a bye. So I actually like Green Bay in this game. I'm not going to bet this game, obviously. Green Bay and Denver, who cares? But I actually think this is a very good situation for Green Bay. I think Denver could be looking ahead next week again to Kansas City. The Chargers and Chiefs should be a good one. I mean, 5.5-point favorite for Kansas City. Hard to pick a side here. The Chargers are a team that you can take when you're getting points. So I don't mind a Chargers plus 5.5 bet at all. The total is 48, which is one of the highest totals on the board this week. If you look at the totals this week, the average is like 40-41. So unders have been killing it this season. And so there's a lot of low totals for the week. 48 is one of the highest. I like over 48 in this game. I'm not a totals guy, but the Chargers and Chiefs, I think, can go up and down the field against one another. I think both of these teams score into the mid-20s, and that this game goes over the total. Otherwise, guys, I have 4 plays on the Patreon this week. I mean, it's a Thursday night game. I'll give this one out for free. This is my least favorite pick that I have this week. Only a 2% play. Jacksonville and New Orleans. New Orleans depends where you look at. This line was fluctuating because of the status of Trevor Lawrence. It looks like he's going to play now. I think he's been upgraded to probable. So if you got the Saints early in the week when there's more question marks, that you could get the Saints around -1. I had them at 2.5, but not really. You're not crossing a key number. Total sitting around 40. 40.5. I think, you know, Saints games have been cash and under, so you can just keep hitting unders if you want with Saints games until the train crashes and just stick on it. But expect a low scoring game. I like the Saints at -2.5. You know, whatever. There's not much to like with New Orleans. They stink. Defensively, we know what they are. They have a good defense. Offensively, they can't do a whole lot. But I think this is a bad spot for Jacksonville. They're coming off 2 games in London. Kudos to them winning those. Flying back home, playing a tough home divisional game against Indianapolis. And now they have a short week going on the road. Doug Peterson, 7-0 in Thursday night football games. But I think schedule spot, Jacksonville has to be a little bit fatigued at this point. They're banged up. They're missing some guys. The Saints looks like they're going to be missing some guys on the O-line. I think 3 offensive linemen. So I don't expect either team to really move up and down the field, but I think situationally it's more of a fade on Jacksonville than a bet on New Orleans. So there you have it. Other games that I'll be betting on will be the Steelers and Rams game. I'll be betting on the Lions and Ravens game, and of course the probably game of the week, Sunday Night Football, Miami and Philadelphia. I'll be on that game as well. So sign up to the Patreon, guys. Only $10 a month. You can unsubscribe at any point. So you can sign up for a month, try it out. Only costs you $10. You get 4 weeks out of it. And then if you don't like it, unsubscribe. But for the YouTube channel, like, subscribe, comment, guys. I'll have the link for the Patreon in the description. Good luck heading into week 7.